join me back in the record shop for part 2. I haven't been able to do much videoing this week because I've been so busy, under a bit of pressure, but I will show you what I've been up to. So we've not touched the counter or anything like that yet, but what we have done is we've built all this. Now I'm just finishing off this central bay today, as you've just seen in the time lapses, putting all the central dividers in, and then I've got to build false bottoms and everything to raise them all up for CDs. But we've got on quite well really. We've got, what is it today, Wednesday, so we've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to get finished, so I'm hoping that's going to work. But as you can see, we've got that central bay, it's pretty solid. I need to put some diagonals in it. We've got all this one sorted, that's pretty much finished, it just wants sanding. This back one, that's pretty much sorted. We just need to panel the wall like that with MDF. The legs, I'm leaving all the fronts of the legs until last because I'm just going to try and use any offcuts of 12mm I've got. I am going to add a couple of additional legs down each side for this. Similarly with this, I'm going to put some extra in. I didn't realise how heavy vinyl records are, but for each bay like that, what's that going to be? 50 kilograms, so 50, 50, 50, 50, so that's 225. So that's 225 kilograms per bay. So that's like 2 of me sat on each bay. And like this one, that's going to have 300 to 400 kilograms in it. This one is for CDs. That's going to have 2,900 CDs in it roughly. So, which sounds quite a lot, and I suppose it'll weigh a lot as well, won't it? So, but yeah, anyhow, today's job is fitting all these central dividers like that, and then they all just want fixing in from each end, all the way along, so that they kind of look like that, so they're all nice and straight. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that very quickly. So what I've basically done is I've cut 2 packers like so. That can go up to there like that, and then that's exactly half, and that's exactly half. Okay, then where's the record? Oh, I ain't got one. Then I'm going to fix through the ends, and then when I put this one in, I can fix through the end of that one, but then I'm going to have to fix diagonally through here to this one, which is a bit annoying to be honest, because it works, but it's a bit awkward, a bit time consuming and a bit fiddly, and it's not the best. But if I can get all these in today, that'll be nice. And then what else I'm going to do is build a false bottom, because what we wanted to do was make this so that we can put CDs and vinyl or vinyl in it. So let me just quickly show you. So for example, this vinyl, look, fits in there nicely, okay, but also 2 CDs fit in there nicely. Now that's just the correct height for the vinyl, look, so that you can stand here and just look through it nicely, and then that's going to be tiered up slightly. But with CDs are a lot smaller, so I'm going to have to raise the bottom up by 4 inches and have a removable bottom, so that the guy can fill this with CDs, and once he's sold all the CDs, or he's sold parts of CDs, he's going to take the false bottoms out and then put records back in like this, which should be perfect, because then you can just look through here. The records at the back here are going to be 2 inches higher like they are everywhere else, so that they're slightly tiered. Then you can stand here, do that, and then you can stand here, do that. And what I've done with the fronts is I've built the fronts 260, so you've got 60mm of wood and base MDF, and then you've got 200mm coming up, which is 8 inches, and these are obviously 12, so that's 3/4 of the way up. So it's like up to there on the vinyl, because when these lean against the front, we want them to be supported well, we don't want them halfway up bending. So that's what the owner told me anyway. I didn't know that, but hey, every day's a school day. So yeah, we're going to have a stack in here, and we can stand here at a lovely height and look through them. Everyone's going to be happy. So right, I'll put you on a time lapse and we'll get all these middle bits screwed in.
we would be travelling.
Right, there we go, that's that side sorted. Nice and straight all the way down. Then all I've got to do now is just go and fill just 3 holes per bay, because that side, obviously the holes get covered. I've filled all the holes on the fronts and stuff like that, so there's going to be quite a bit of sanding to do at the end to get rid of all the sharp edges and things like that, but you know, I'm just filling everything as I go once I'm happy with it, and then I can just have a couple of hours sanding at the end. Right, next job is, these are still loose, I haven't fixed these yet, so I'm going to fix these all the way along, and then I'm going to cut and fit all the dividers for this side, and then that'll be that middle bay sorted. That'll look exactly the same this side and this side, and then once I've done that, I'm not going to show you that because it's exactly what I've just done. I'm then going to panel that wall up there. I think I might stick a big panel up there and just get that drying and put a couple of them bits later with some offcuts. And then today's main job is to actually do this counter. Right, sorted. So that's this side sorted. That's this side sorted. So that looks well. You come in a shop, that's going to be like a main thing in the middle. Beautiful stuff. I've got a few legs and stuff to put on that, and I'm going to like clad down here and stuff, but I'm going to do that with offcuts at a later date. Right, moving on to the counter now. So let's have a look at it. What I do is pre-cut this bit of board just as a work surface really. What I'm working with at the minute is this. I've kept this curved bit as a bit of a template so that I can kind of use that as a nice radius, because this is exactly what was here before. So I'm going to come round like this. I'm going to do it deeper though. I'm going to do it the same depth as the front and just bring that round. A little bit of an overhang on the front. Fix it down, biscuit it together, V-groove it, sand it all up lovely. So that's kind of what we're after. Just need to check that the radius is okay with the bottom and that's not going to overhang or anything daft like that, and we'll go from there. Right, so this is kind of what I'm after. I've got this roughly how I want it. I just need to do some sanding on it and cut this to length and round the corners off there. But this bit, look, I've got it kind of like that. Which I think looks quite good, to be honest. You know, he's got a nice area there, he could put a record player or whatever, and then he's got a nice big counter. Put 5 biscuit joint marks across here, so I'm going to get them cut, and then do some sanding and get rid of all the pencil marks and put a nice round on it. So yeah, I think that looks alright, to be honest. That's having some bendy MDF around there when it arrives tomorrow. In here we're going to put a shelf on top of there, and then another one halfway up, I think, something like that. in. Like that, and then what I'll do, so what I'll do then, with just basic trend ons, what I'm going to do then is I'll V-groove that joint, and then I can fill that joint. That keeps that nice and flat then. You know, it looks alright. Then underneath here, I need to come up with something to kind of support this front edge. So I was thinking about just like attaching something to the side of here, like a diagonal, something like that, because we're going to put a shelf here. I'm just going to put shelf brackets on, put a shelf there. So yeah, that's what I was thinking anyway. Right folks, so we've got this cut, got that cut, and it's fitted and it's all levelled up lovely. So I thought I'll fix that in place. That's all levelled up nicely. And what I've done is I've put some of this adhesive underneath. Oh, and you can just see it squidging out a bit there, look. Underneath, basically on like this edge, all the way around, just to give it some adhesion as well to help it. But yeah, I've done that. I'm going to glue this biscuits up now, lay it on, put a bit there, lay it on, then I'm going to lift it up and put some extra adhesive under. So let's get on with it. Right, there we are. That's nice and solid now. I'll put some additional bracing around the back. But yeah, quite pleased with that. Changes the look of it quite a bit, doesn't it? So I built these, made them, whatever. So I'm basically going to put them like that for an additional support for the old countertop. Right, so what we'll do, a few taps. 3 countersinks, some glue, bit of glue up on the thing it's in, and we can just go like that, push it up hard, and then we'll screw it in. That should be lovely, that. It's quite out the way, you're not going to see it when you stood on counter and stuff like that, and it's going to be lovely and strong. So it'll dry up nicely. When you stood up here you can't even see it. If you maybe catch it from end a bit you can just see that, which I don't particularly think is offensive. It's not going nowhere. Right, I'll show you what I've been doing with counter. Had these nice little shelves up front. Done the top, rounded the corners and just put like a nice pencil round on them. Filled out screw holes with some filler I found, what was very similar colour to MDF. Made a little shelf for down here. All I've done is I've put these little angled pieces like that, look. Same down here, just 3 of them. And she's nice and sturdy. Done a nice round on here. Same here. That's about 2 foot across all the way. Filled all that nicely. So that's all ready for tomorrow to sand. Then the customer wanted a couple of shelves across here. So I've done them angled. So I've done them the same width as this cabinet, look. To the width of that cabinet. Tapered. They don't look tapered, but they are. That's like 12 inch to about 19 inch. So that'd be nice. I'm going to put a bit of a 2x1 along the front. Just because there's a bit of a bow in them. Same on both front and back. So I think that's that area nearly sorted, just a load of sand in, stuff like that. And this morning, look, no end. The 3 metre track has been absolutely invaluable on this job. It's paid for itself 5 times over. I would never have been able to do this at this speed without it. It's been absolute fantastic. It really has. So I'm pretty happy with what I've got done today, to be honest, so far. I'm going to have a good tidy up and do some sanding in a bit. Tomorrow I'm going to put that curved bit of MDF on there, and then that'll get that finished off nicely. Then I've got this area to do. So customer wants another bay like that one at bottom, put in there, a shelf up there, and then some shelves in corner. Oh, and then there's this down here. So from here, he wants from here to edge at door, basically just like a little box building. I might do that now actually. Yeah, so I've actually built this centre bit here for CDs, but with the view for it to be used for vinyl at a later date down the line. So what I've done is I've built false bottoms in all the drawers. So let me just show you. As you look down, I think there's like 12 bays. So 12, 24, so there's 48 bays in this. And what I've done is let me see if I can do it. So I've put a hole in them all, and I've done a removable bottom. I've basically just cut strips at the sides. Then you can pop that in like that. Okay, and then the back one, some of them are quite tight. We can just use an Allen key or something. The back one's even deeper, look. So they're tiered about, I think it's about 2 inches again. But they look really good when they're full of CDs, to be honest with you. They look really cool. Yeah, this shop probably don't look that great at the minute, or just bare MDF and stuff, but I think once it's full of vinyl, there's vinyls hanging off the walls here. This has got, like, I think this is going to hold something like 1,500 CDs, something like that, quite a lot. So I think once all that comes into play and you get everything full, he's bought like 20 posters to put up, he's got all the, you know, t-shirts. I'll put a picture of me in a t-shirt up now, bags, loads of stuff. So let me show you the outside anyway. You don't look it, but there's been a lot of blooming work going into this, a lot of materials and all, especially that middle bit. That middle bit's like 4 and a bit metres long by, I think, a metre wide, but it's going to be perfect. So I personally think the height's going to be perfect. You can just stand like this, you can look through the CDs. There's going to be another bay here as well. There's like, you can look through them, push them all back, and there's going to be CDs here too, so they're well within reach, look. And you just at a nice thing to be able to flick through them all, push them back, look at them, move along as you do. I think that'll look really quite smart. And the thing with it is, once it's full of CDs, or vinyls or whatever, that's what's going to make it look cool. And people aren't coming in to look at, come in the floor or whatever, they're coming to look at the CDs, but yeah, you can get the idea of what I'm trying to say. Look, when they're like that and it's full, all that's full of CDs and all that's full of records, yeah, I think that'll look pretty cool, to be honest. So right, that's about it for this one. I'm coming back in the morning, so if we can get any footage tomorrow once it's fully finished and bits and bobs, I will do. There's not been a great deal of anything exciting to show you on this one. I've just been ripping and ripping and ripping and ripping MDF I tell you what, I am so pleased about that 3-metre track, because this has been a godsend. The DeWalt table saw, absolutely fantastic. Pt2 radio, mint. Makita chop saw, absolute rubbish. Now this isn't why it's rubbish, it's a horrendous saw. I would not recommend anybody to buy it now that I've been using it for a good amount of time. It actually, I knocked it and it fell off the bench yesterday. It fell off the bench yesterday and snapped this bit off. So that's unfortunately broken. Don't know if I'm going to be able to mend it, and to be quite frank, I don't know if I want to. This guide, that don't work half the time. When you pull the saw down, don't work. It's about as accurate as somebody who's never used a joinery tool before in their life. You have to set it up every time you use it. Yeah, I think my next part of call is going to be to get my big DeWalt across the whole power tools and get them to mend it, and I'll go from there. I was only saying to the customer yesterday, I wish I bought the Pt2 small chop saw, because the reason I wanted that is because I wanted a small chop saw, because look, most of the stuff you cut is small. Unless you're doing a roof, which I'll probably use a circular saw for, you're not cutting massive, thick, chunky stuff. That'll cut, you know, 8, 10, 12 inch skirtings, all things like that. It'll cut 300mm easily, so there's no need to have a huge, heavy saw, which the DeWalt is. I think it's like 30 kilograms or something, so it's enormous, but yeah, so it's been, the DeWalt saw has been fantastic. I must have had that getting on for 10 years. The Makita one I've had 6 months, and to be honest, I hate it. Every time I get it out of the garage, it's just like, for a start, I thought, oh, this is really good because it's lightweight and stuff like that, but it's just not accurate. It's not accurate that way. It's like, you put it into place and it's like a bit, it doesn't feel solid like it's in. And then you click it into the angles and you put it to 0, and it's not at 0, so then you have to tweak with it for ages to get it right. Second, you put it in the van, move it, it's not at 0 again, so then you're putting it half a degree out to try and, using your square, do a mitre, it's just a nightmare. It doesn't stay square, it's a terrible machine really, but anyway, we know, well, I know not to buy another one. But it's like, the Pt2's fantastic, my friend's got one of those, it's really, really good, but it's like $1,000, something like that, yeah, $1,000 in my opinion for a chop saw is probably a bit too much for how small it is, and then you've got to buy the wings and the stand and everything on top, so, but it's a fantastic bit of kit, what's lasted years, so. Anyway, that's a wrap for this one. Thanks for watching, see you next time.